Hi friends, it's Suzanne here from sunstampin.com. I'm a Canadian Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I want to welcome you to my weekly Wildcard Wednesday video on my blog and YouTube channel. The card designs I share today are a little more technique driven, but nothing too complicated. I also sell the products I feature in this video. I hope you enjoy my free video tutorial and would love to see you shop with me. For today's card, I'm featuring the stamp set Rooted in Nature. Now, I only have one case out here today because the stamp set actually comes in two cases and I actually combine them into one. And I have the delightfully detailed, I guess this is paper. It's like laser cut paper. It's gorgeous. And I didn't include this in the paper share because it's too difficult to cut up. So I have my Stamparatus here and I'm using it to hold my watercolor paper, and I have a smooshing sheet, which is just a window sheet, and I daubed it with Highland Heather, gave it a little bit of a spray, gave my watercolor paper a little bit of a spray. Sorry about the dog barking. And now I squished it onto my watercolor paper, and now with my heat tool, I am just drying it up a little bit, just a tiny little bit. Now I like using the Stamparatus for this. The heat tool is not on super hot, it's on the dry setting, so the first setting. The second color I'm using is Balmy Blue, same thing. Tapped it on my smooshing sheet and then added a little bit of water, and now I'll let the colors do what they want. And you can see here how easily it was to just wipe that up from my Stamparatus. So you can really use this tool to your advantage. Okay, so now I am using Blueberry Bushel as well. And I even go in one further time with the Highland Heather, which I think is my all-time favorite purple. You probably haven't heard me say that I like purple, but I do. We just haven't had a purple that I really dug, and I really dig Highland Heather. All right, and then this is the piece de resistance. I'm taking the nozzle thing out of my water container and I'm flicking some water spots on my watercolor paper. I'm using my Cupcakes paper towel here, or it's actually a serviette or a napkin. And I'm picking up the water. So now I have sort of a splotchy, surreal background. Then I take my smooshing sheet again and I squeeze some Wink of Stella out, and now I'm flicking very tiny flicks of Wink of Stella on my watercolor paper. And then I just put that off to dry. So now here is the delightfully detailed laser cut paper. It's stunning. And I can't figure out which way I'm gonna go. So I did cut a 6x6 piece. And this watercolor paper was bigger than what I needed, but I will cut them both down to 5 1/4 by 5.5 by 4 1/4. And I am daubing up any of the Tombow mono adhesive glue that I use to adhere the paper, the laser cut paper, to the watercolor paper. Okay, so now I have some adhesive sheet, and I love this stuff for die cuts and just for like everything. I love this. I did the Thank You Thinlit, which that is like by far my favorite Thinlit out of, well, it might be a close running to Easter Medallion, because I really like Easter Medallion, but this is like a close second, if not even. It's a great sentiment. It gives out so many thank yous. You just go ahead and you make a big old sticker out of it. You can, and save them for later. If you're bored and you're not creative, just run a whole bunch of thank yous out of your big shot. So I did add one more piece of Whisper White Thick actually behind that, just so I give a little bit of dimension. So it's 2 die cuts stuck together with the adhesive sheet. So there's actually 4 layers going on if you consider the adhesive sheet. Now I'm going over with my Wink of Stella clear glitter brush pen over the thank you. And then over the glitter, I eventually will go with my fine tip glue pen. But first, I have to adhere it to the base, which is a Whisper White thin base. Sorry, Whisper White thick. What am I talking about? I like, especially on this sort of thing, I like to line it up on the desk and, you know, stick it down. At least I know that there's one side that's going to be completely even. And then this is what I do. I just very trim off if there's anything left over. And that, oh, here's a little trick. Tombow still is sticky when it dries, so I go ahead with my embossing buddy and neutralize the stickiness. All right, so I have the Rooted in Nature stamp set, and this is pretty much the only thing that I used from the Rooted in Nature is this little sentiment strip. Isn't that crazy? It says words are never enough. It's a perfect sentiment. But, you know, I tricked y'all. There is no leaves in it or trees or anything to do with, you know, the images. Just this little strippy sentiment. Anyway, here's my fine tip glue pen. And I am coating the entire die cut. I'm just going to make that sentiment shiny and pop out from the rest of the card. And of course I did, you know, once I looked at it, and I look at it now and I can see that I could have just left it like this. This would have been perfect. But, you know, I did a little bit more because I really can't stop. So I've got my glitter enamel dots here, and these are in the new colors. I don't know what they are just yet, and so I played around with placement, but I eventually stuck them on the center of the flowers and tried to make a visual triangle, and there you go. So thanks so much for joining me, and I will catch you again soon. Bye. Hey, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. On screen are 2 more videos for inspiration. Click on the maple leaf for my blog, or click on me to subscribe to my channel. Thanks again for watching.